One day in the library, he met an old professor who was quietly observing the students. There was a deep peace in his eyes, as if no matter how much noise the world made, it could never reach him. Jack shared his story. The professor smiled calmly and said, "Confidence is not loud, Arjun. Confidence is calm. And dangerous confidence is when you simply don't care what anyone is saying." Jack asked, "But how do I learn this?" The professor said just 3 words: react to nothing. Lack was confused. Nothing, meaning absolutely nothing. The professor explained, "People will judge you. They will provoke you. They will test your silence. But you do one experiment for 7 days. Don't react to anything. Just observe. Smile more, speak less, listen more, prove less." Jack started the experiment. The very first day, the test was right there. Friends made fun. But this time, he flowed like water. No words, no argument, no expression, just inner calmness. No reaction. Second day in class, someone said, "You must still be scared." He gave a slight smile. No insult felt, no anger, no pain. As if the comment had hit his outer layer and fallen down. Never reached inside. No reaction. Third day, family said something that would have hurt him before. But he thought, if I don't react, there will be no pain either. He saw reaction itself is the root of pain. The moment he removed reaction, the pain left. And then a miracle happened. People's behavior started changing. The friends who used to joke around could no longer take him lightly. Their eyes changed. Their tone changed. Their body language changed. The very boy in class who had insulted him during the presentation saw a different confidence in Jack's eyes and was startled. He felt uncomfortable for the first time because Jack was no longer predictable. His control was now in his own hands. Jack now spoke less, but his presence was more visible. He no longer gave reactions, but he left more impact. His silence was no longer weakness. It had become a weapon. Slowly, he began to realize the world was not changing. He himself was changing. His walk changed. His speech changed. His energy level changed. Before, he was just a face in the crowd. Now, people recognized his face. Before, he used to fade in conversations. Now, even his pause carried weight. And the biggest thing, for the first time in life, he felt dangerously confident. Because he had become the master of his own emotions. Now people's voices no longer penetrated him. He heard them but did not absorb them. And strangely, people now started giving him respect. Because people respect only the one who can control themselves. Slowly, Jack understood confidence does not mean being loud. Confidence means being stable. It is not noise, it is peace. Not acclaim, but patience. Not reactivity, but resistance. One day, that same boy who had insulted him in the presentation came to Jack and said, "You have changed. Something has happened inside you." Jack just smiled. He didn't even want to explain because he knew that whoever needed to understand would understand through his silence. Chapter 1. The Power of Non-Reaction. Every person carries 2 forms within them. One who reacts immediately, and another who stays calm inside. Like deep water with no ripple. Most people in the world are dominated by the first form. Non-reaction is not a gift you are born with. It is an art. The art of managing the noise within you. The person who remains stable inside when someone provokes them, tests their limits, tries to disturb them emotionally, that person is the true owner of real strength. Psychology says when you don't react, the other person's mind becomes completely confused. They cannot figure out your limits. They cannot determine whether you will get angry, hold expectations, break, or simply smile and move forward. In this confusion, they lose their power, and your hold over them strengthens. Sometimes real strength lies not in making noise, but in standing quietly. There come moments in all our lives when people test us. Someone taunts us. Someone disrespects us. Someone mistakes our silence for weakness. And right there, we break from within. Because we react, our emotions take control. Anger, insecurity, fear, the hunger for approval. But there are some people who, even at the greatest provocation, simply observe and do not react. These people carry a strange, quiet strength, as if someone says to them, "You can't do it. You don't deserve this. You are nothing special." And they simply smile and say, "Maybe," without ego, without a fight, without needing to prove anything. This is dangerous confidence. Because the person who masters the power of not reacting is impossible to defeat. Their mind is in their own control, not in the hands of other people's opinions. Today's story is about one such boy who learned the rarest skill in the world, react to nothing. And when he learned it, people changed, life changed, energy changed, and he became dangerously confident. Jack was a 22-year-old ordinary boy, soft-natured, easily hurt by others' words. Hungry for approval, people took him lightly. Friends made fun of his silence. In class, someone would say, "What will this one say? Leave him." And Jack could say nothing. He would only react inside. His reaction came not in words, but in feelings. Nights of lost sleep, taking every small social media comment to heart, feeling people's eyes judging him everywhere. He didn't walk, he seemed to swim through the currents of other people's opinions. At every step he felt someone said something, someone thought something, someone judged something. One day, a moment came in his life that changed everything. There was a group presentation in college. Jack had come well prepared for his portion, but one boy said in front of everyone, "You stay in the back. You don't know how to speak. You'll ruin the scene." The crowd laughed, and Jack's heart seemed to fall. At that moment, Jack felt everyone's eyes were fixed only on him, as if the entire room was mocking him. As if he had become not just a mistake, but everyone's entertainment. He froze right there. Danger came. Pain came. Humiliation came. But he said nothing. No fight. No argument. No self-defense. Just silence. And this silence kept breaking him from within. He went home, locked his room, and kept thinking for hours. Why couldn't I react? Why am I so weak? Why do people take me lightly? Why is my voice worth so little? That night he kept fighting with himself. The clock hands didn't stop, but his thoughts stayed stuck right there. He felt he was losing, but in reality, that night, he was beginning to win. Pain sometimes doesn't bring destruction. It brings direction. And in Jack's life too, that very pain came as direction. Because at the lowest point of his life, one sentence came to his mind that he had read somewhere. Your reaction is your real weakness. That sentence rang in his mind that night, like a hammer. Jack wanted to understand it. Not just read it, feel it. He started reading behavioral psychology, started listening to Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and most of all started observing his own mind. He discovered our reaction itself determines our life's direction. And if we don't react, the other person's power ends. People's negativity lasts only as long as you keep responding. Your reaction is their oxygen. And not giving a reaction is a kind of emotional suffocation that weakens the other person. Chapter 2. Ego versus real confidence. Two voices always clash within you. One makes a lot of noise. This is the voice of ego. It provokes you, pushes you, and at every small thing says, "Show them who you are. Answer. Prove you are not weak." Ego always wants to stand on stage and impress the world. It cannot be quiet until it has proven its authority to someone. The second voice is completely different. It is very soft, very calm, very deep. This is the voice of real confidence, whispering from within. I know who I am. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. This voice speaks less, but it makes decisions for you. not for others. Ego seeks validation from the outside world, but real confidence gives validation to yourself and sometimes to others. When you immediately react to something someone says, show anger. Try to prove yourself right. You are acting on ego's orders. Ego gets caught on every word. It wants an answer for every hurt. It wants the other person to accept that you won. But this victory is hollow because it comes at the price of your peace. Real confidence chooses a completely different path. It says, no matter what the world says, your value is not determined by your reaction. Psychology says ego is always born from fear. What if people think I am weak? What if my status falls? What if my image breaks? Ego is the wall of insecurity. Real confidence, in contrast, is born from clarity, where there is no fear. Only this understanding you know your own worth, so you don't need to loudly announce it. Chapter 3. You owe no reaction to anyone. We often spend our energy as if it were unlimited. Someone says something, we immediately want to turn around and say something. Someone ignores us, we burn from within. Someone comments online with even the slightest sting, our whole mood is ruined. But the real truth is completely opposite. You are not obliged to give anyone your reaction, your justification, or your emotional response. You owe no explanation to anyone. When you react to everything without thinking, you unknowingly hand your power over to the other person. You are no longer the owner of that moment. The person who just made one comment becomes the director of your emotions. One small word from them shakes your entire day. Non-reaction is the first step out of this trap. When you stay calm without answering, without getting entangled, without justifying, you send a very big message. Your emotions are yours, not in anyone else's control. Your silence becomes your boundary. This boundary is not loud, but it is very clear. Those who want to manipulate you, their game breaks right here. This is called emotional sovereignty in psychology, the state where only you are the owner of your emotions. When you recognize this sovereignty, other people's words start feeling as light as dust. Every comment, every taunt, every judgment can no longer break you. Chapter 4. Emotion control is social power. In the social world, power does not only belong to those with money or a loud voice. Real power belongs to the person who knows how to control their emotions. People often think the dominant person is the one who is loud, who gives fast, angry answers. But social psychology says the opposite. The person who is calm, steady, and most importantly, unpredictable, holds the real power. A person controls others through predictability. If someone knows that provoking you will make you explode, they can run you like a puppet. But the moment you learn emotion control, all the dynamics of the game change. No one can press your mind's buttons anymore. You are no longer predictable. And this unpredictability gives you a different, intriguing power in others' eyes. Emotion control doesn't mean becoming emotionless. Its real meaning is you become the master of your emotions. Your emotions don't become your master. Chapter 5. The Stoic Shield. Observe, don't absorb. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions and our reactions are our own responsibility. Other people's opinions, taunts, criticism, they can only have the effect that we give them. When you observe without absorbing, you see, hear, and feel, but you don't carry the weight. Absorbing happens when you take other people's negativity inside yourself. Overthink it. Compromise your inner peace. This is exactly where people show emotional weakness. Observing empowers you. Not absorbing makes you untouchable. This is the real benefit of the Stoic Shield. You can remain stable even in the turbulence of the outer world. Your awareness increases. Your boundaries become stronger. Your emotional immunity develops. Chapter 6. When silence becomes dominance, silence is often mistaken for weakness. People assume the quiet person lacks confidence, is weak, or doesn't understand anything. But this thinking is often the biggest mistake. Silent people who appear calm on the outside carry inside them a reserve that no one can easily disturb. Their silence becomes their greatest strength, a strength that is not seen but felt. When a person keeps reacting continuously, their every response is in the hands of the other person. But the one who adopts silence does not fall victim to any provocation. Their inner calmness becomes their armor. People underestimate them, cannot recognize their strength. But slowly that same silence transforms into mysterious authority. People think, why doesn't this person react? What inner strength do they have? This very question makes their presence unique. This question creates a subtle tension in the environment around them. The power of silence lies in the fact that it is unpredictable. People are afraid when they don't know how their action will have an effect. This uncertainty is exactly where dominance hides. The silent person's control keeps increasing because they are the master of their own emotions, and others' attempts cannot affect them. Psychology shows that unpredictable calmness creates a natural magnetism. People unconsciously align themselves around calm people. Their energy subtly influences, their presence dominates situations. And the biggest thing, this dominance is not loud. It is not noisy. It establishes itself slowly, almost invisibly, but when felt, its power is undeniable. Chapter 7. The transformation becoming dangerously confident. Dangerous confidence does not depend on any external display. It is not loud. It does not need anyone's approval. It is calm, stable, and centered from within. Such people are not disturbed by situations or the noise of others. Their inner stability is so strong that no criticism, taunt, or attempt to provoke can shake them. When other people's opinions no longer affect you, you truly become invincible. The most important aspect of this transformation is that the person is no longer reactive. Their reactions no longer control them. They themselves are the master of their emotions and responses. This gives them psychological immunity. They understand that external noise is only a test, and their calmness is their shield. In this stabilized presence lies their true power. Logically and subtly dangerous confidence establishes invisible authority over surrounding people. People unconsciously respect such a person, acknowledge their presence. Noise and chaos often come from insecure minds that create external noise to hide their own inadequacy. When calm, centered individuals are around, people feel their tactics are not working. This is what defines dangerous confidence. Real strength is always silent. Noise is only the echo of insecure minds. When someone learns to control their energy, attention, and emotions, they become dangerously confident. A person who can influence the world without show, without shouting, simply through their grounded presence and inner calmness. So friends, in today's audiobook we learned that being dangerously confident is not a matter of display. Real confidence is calm, stable, and centered. It is born when you control your emotions, stop reacting, and become the absolute master of your inner world. Remember, dangerous confidence is not something you show. It is the power of your inner strength and self-control. Adopt it, and gradually you too will become unstoppable in your life. Subscribe to One Book. Thank you.